Hello and welcome back to Emberclaw Industrial Dawn and of course to RimWorld. Where we last left off, we got all of our floors started. That process is going to take quite a lot longer than I initially anticipated, but that is okay. They will get that done eventually. As is going to be the case for the first few episodes, we have a couple of new mods, the first of which is smart farming that has been updated. We can now set priorities on our fields, so I have set priority preferred on our corn crops because, you know, we want food. We can also disallow and allow harvesting, so harvest toggle is now removed from the mod pack, and I also went ahead and added choose your outfit, which gives us this screen for choosing outfits rather than the other one. We won't get into that just yet because we're not really dealing with apparel all that much, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now, first things first, we are running out of food. I didn't quite give myself a big enough stockpile when I was doing my corn, so we are going to have to improvise a little bit. First step of that is I'm going to harvest a whole bunch of agave from around my map, and that should tide us over for a little bit, but I want to go a little bit further than that and get just that little bit more. So I am going to send 4 of my pawns, all with guns, down this way, and we are going to hunt ourselves an effluent. And that should provide us with plenty of food. So everyone can now start shooting at you. Hopefully Matthew can get a shot to connect before he runs too far away, and of course we can't. Alright, we'll follow him up a little bit more. Let's get in a little bit closer. We should be able to take him down relatively easily. He is going to try and attack us, but hopefully with enough nicely placed shots here, we should be able to get something to happen. I'm just going to move these guys back a little bit. That effluent will attack Layfield a little bit there. Layfield will get a torn off right middle finger. That is rough. And a scratch to their right hand. That is what it is. We're going to allow that, undraft everybody. Marchment is going to haul that elephant and we should have plenty of food. Now, we do have another problem. If I can go ahead and find my dog Flannel. Flannel here has been helping himself to our ambrosia. And before Flannel here gets addicted, I want to make sure that that no longer happens. So I'm going to manage areas. I say new area. This is going to be for pets. I'm going to expand that to include my kitchen and nothing else. And then I'll go back into manage areas and simply invert that. So our dog can now no longer go in our kitchen, and hopefully they'll stop stacking on all of our ambrosia. With that being said, I am going to let the game run for a little bit as we build up a bunch more of these floors. You can see we're already slightly impressive in here. This is mediocre. That's dull. Kitchen's mediocre. Our storeroom / fridge is slightly impressive. And our kitchen is still awful, our butchering room, but that is okay. And one more thing before I jump into that time lapse. Because our dog no longer has access to this kitchen, I would like to go ahead and build some storage outside. So I'm going to build, let's say, 2-tier display storage. I'm going to build that right about there. That is going to be built out of wood. I think that's okay. And then in this, I'm going to clear all, and I'm going to start building kibble and have kibble go in there. That should be important. And of course, I will need to go into my butcher table and actually set it to start making kibble. So I'm going to set that to be, I don't know, 200. Should be okay. That will use some of our food, but I'm okay with that. Eventually, once we get our first insect infestation, I will also set up a kibble to be made with insect meat and insect jelly. But for right now, that will do. And we will come back in a little bit. With a trader coming in, I am going to get rid of some of my random leathers. We're going to get rid of our bird skin, our light leather, and our elephant leather. I know elephant leather is good, and we might end up having a bunch later on down the line, but for right now it's not all that useful for me. And I'm also going to get rid of my poor quality cloth button down shirt. I don't really want to buy anything from this guy, so I'm going to leave that for now. Hit accept. And in that time lapse, you might have noticed that we had a little bit of power problems. I have a plan to deal with that, but for the moment there is one thing that I can do to at least get myself an extra 60 watts. That is, turn off this fridge that's holding our medicine. I don't actually need this to be on for this medicine to be kept good. Medicine does not need to be refrigerated. So having that fridge off is going to still allow access to both the prison and the hospital, but we won't be burning that 60 watts at a time. As for future power problems, we will probably, once we finish gunsmithing, go ahead and take a little detour into the solar panel and then swing right back to Devilstrand to get some decent clothes going for our colonists. But for right now, we are still working on that research and still working on these floors. They are coming along slowly but surely. And with that being said, we will come back in a little bit. One other thing that we should absolutely do is change up these schedules, because Marchment and Ruben no longer have muscle parasites. I don't know what is happening with Layfield's schedule at all, but we do have a couple of night owls. So Layfield and I believe Marchment are both night owls, so we should definitely go ahead and fix up their schedules so they're not on biphasic anymore. That is absolutely not necessary. But yeah, Layfield and Marchment will need to sleep in the middle of the day. So let's go for 7 sleep. Let's go for a recreation after, 2 recreation before, and I'm actually going to extend these guys' sleep out by 1 as well, because they only had 6, and I feel like they should probably at least get 7 hours of sleep. That should be good, and with that said, I will let them continue on for a little bit longer. We have a cougar hunting Ruben. That is not ideal, but we should be able to deal with it relatively easily. I am going to draft absolutely everyone and get them all to congregate around that door. Thankfully, we do have this river in between, so we should be able to get there without too many issues. And it looks like we're there already. So I'm going to get Dragon to stand at this door and hold it open. Now, because this is just a singular enemy, we can melee block at the door and not have any issues with that. If it was multiple, Dragon could be hit by multiple people at the same time, and that would be bad. I don't know why they stopped. I don't know why they stopped at all. You guys, can you please shoot at said cougar? Get him to move again. All right, Cougar Revenge, it's coming in. And we should hopefully be able to deal with this guy before he even gets to Dragon. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I will get Dragon to melee attack them to death. Everyone else can get undrafted. And we can move on with our day. Absolutely fantastic. And a little bit more meat coming in just in time as well. This is 89%, so this cougar should get us through until our corn crops have officially grown. I made a mistake, didn't I? Yeah. I absolutely did. I believe... Oh no, they didn't eat all of our ambrosia, but I completely forgot to actually assign that pets policy to Flannel. So Flannel, please get out of the fridge. I know it's nice and cool in there, but please just stay out of the fridge. And with our low psychic drone, Ruben has officially gone on an insulting spree. That is not fantastic. What else is... Yeah, they're hungry, sweaty, impressive barracks to serve sleep. I mean, relatively speaking, they should be reasonably happy, but I guess they just aren't. So that is a little bit unfortunate, but we should be able to make it through without too many problems. Ruben will get catharsis from that, and that should hopefully stabilize their mood. Or Ruben will start a social fight with Layfield. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted to see. And of course they drop their weapon, which is just very annoying. We have to remember to reassign that as soon as they can walk again. Layfield now has a major break risk as well. Fantastic. Yeah, they don't have a right middle finger anymore. That sucks. You're going to be okay, but my goodness, guys. Seven Manhunting Rats. Should be okay. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's get everyone in this doorway just to be as safe as we possibly can. Ruben is probably going to struggle to get there, so I'm going to send him up the top way instead and just try and get him inside. That is probably the best that we can do. Hopefully this rat here does not catch up to Ruben before he sees these guys, and we should be okay. But I'm going to get Dragon in this doorway. I will, for this one, hold that doorway open, move these guys back a little bit, and get Dragon to go here instead, just so that they actually come in that way rather than the other way. And Ruben is almost definitely going to get caught up to by these rats, isn't he? Yeah. And these rats aren't even going to come down here. Okay, fantastic. Dragon, you can please shut that door again. Let's hold this one open instead, and get you guys in behind here, please. Ruben, come on. All right, Dragon might have to come out a little bit. Ruben, can you come in this way at the very least? Dragon, please go ahead and take care of those rats. Get them off Ruben. Okay, Ruben is down, but so are the rats. These guys are dealing with the other ones. I will go ahead and get Dragon to help with them. These guys can please be undrafted. They should be fine. And melee attack rat to death. Melee attack rat. Alright. We should be good. We should be okay. Let's undraft there. I believe someone is going to go rescue Ruben. Marchment, can you please do it? It's reserved by Flannel. Okay. I will get Layfield to maybe do that because they are better at medicine. And that way we can... Oh, I did not see you. Go and attack that rat, please. Thank you. Undraft. Layfield is now tending to Ruben. We should be fine there. We have no more enemies on the map. Absolutely fantastic. And Ruben lost their gun again. Solar panels are officially finished in terms of research. Let's go ahead and start working on Devilstrand and finally get a more stable source of power in the form of solar panels. I'm gonna, for right now, just put 2 down. I think that'll keep us through. I mean, the wind turbines are almost doing it anyway, so these 2 should be absolutely fine. And then we should be getting close to finishing this. I should probably go ahead and actually haul a little bit more slate into the vicinity if I can find any. There's some down there, but that's so far away. Okay, these ones will do. Let's grab, whoop, not all that, just those, haul them, and that way this stone cutting should go a little bit quicker. So many mad animals. A local emu has gone mad. Okay, Ruben, you can stay out of this one. I will grab the rest of these guys, and let's just do this out here. I think that's going to be the safer bet. If we get Dragon to move up a little bit, we should be able to get some decent shots off relatively quickly. Let's line these guys up a little bit nicer. And Matthew, can you please start shooting at them? Okay, you need to be a little bit closer. Let's start shooting now. They're coming back in. Let's bring Matthew back. Dragon is going to be the one that does the melee. They should... Yeah, perfect. Absolutely fine. Let's go ahead and melee attack to death. You guys can be undrafted. You are now not dead yet. Melee attack to death, please. And that is fantastic. Let's go ahead and allow that. Even more food. Absolutely fantastic. More. Fennec foxes this time. 5 Fennec foxes. Coming down from the bottom. I guess we just do it again. Let's go ahead and draft everyone. Get them in here. And see what we can't do here. Let's get them inside. That can now be held open. Dragon, hold that open. You guys can come in here nice and tight. Ruben can go there. Layfield should hopefully get inside in time. Yeah. And Matthew, you can come up to the door so that you have a little bit more range with your shots. All right, here they come. Let's go again. All right. I actually don't know if you can shoot from there, so I'm going to bring you guys back a little bit, just in case you can't. I think they could, but better safe than sorry. Get those Fennec foxes dealt with. I mean, the game is, to be fair, providing with us with a fantastic amount of meat. Let's go ahead and get Dragon out of the way. I will go ahead and just shoot at that pile of dead bodies. Yeah. Shoot. And one more time. Shoot. Perfect. I think they're all dead. Let's go ahead and undraft everyone. Unfortunately, some of them were rotting. We Did we get Scaria? No, we did not. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Another group of animals successfully dealt with. I don't know why the game is sending us so many animals, but hey, I mean, it's meat. It's meat. And we kind of need that to make the kibble, so I'm not going to complain too much. And this is why I don't like holding doors open. Yeah, I forgot to close both of them. So let's go ahead and close them. Dragon, I will draft you real quick. Just go up and close that door and then come down and close that door, and then you can be undrafted. Perfect. And the floor is finished. Finally, we now have an extremely impressive barracks. It is rich, extremely spacious. Beauty is neutral and it is clean, which is very, very nice. Now, I would like to go ahead and build a couple more beds just for the sake of making this look nice, but I don't actually want to use these beds. I would like to go ahead and use the beds added by the furnishings mod we added in the last episode. These ones right here. These give us 5 beauty. They also raise the comfort by another 0.1, so I think that is going to be worth doing. Let's go ahead and get this double bed in facing the correct direction, which I believe is there. And let's get the single bed, if I can find it, this one here. Again, wooden, and I'm going to throw that down there. I will, after these are built, reassign Matthew and Marchment to those beds, reassign one of these guys to this one, and eventually convert this entire room to those new beds, which I think will be nice. Now, these do require cloth to build, which makes sense. They're beds. They look similar, but I quite like them. They do add a little bit more beauty than the other ones, though. So let's go ahead and get a Ruben moved over first. Matthew and Marchment can come down here. Marchment and Matthew can be down there, and let's get this one deconstructed and this one deconstructed, and we can continue switching these beds over. You have learned that a relic of the Path of the Ashen Flame is nearby. The Emberclaw Clan Pint glass is an ancient object venerated by all animists. If you could collect it, you could build a great reliquary to make animists happy, attract wealthy pilgrims, and bring more people to the Path of the Ash and Flame. First, you need to find the Emberclaw Clan Pint glass, watch for opportunities to gather information about it. This is going to be tricky for me, but for you guys, if you would like your very own Emberclaw Clan Pint glass, you can go ahead and buy one. Link is in the description down below. Devilstrand is complete, and with that, I'm tempted to get beer brewing just to make a little bit of money, but I would really, really, really like to get some decent guns in the form of, like, I want to go all the way down here, but we're going to need multi-analyzer and fabrication to get enough components to do that. I think for right now, we should at the very least unlock mortars. That will help us out quite a lot. And yeah, I think that'll be the next research we do. Now, these other beds are officially deconstructed and ready to be upgraded. I'll continue with this, but before I do that, I would like to go ahead and actually set up my Devilstrand. So I'm going to do a growing zone. Actually, I'm going to shrink this one down first. Is this not a growing zone? Okay. That makes that easier then. And turn on the fertility overlay just so I can see this a little bit clearer. And I'm going to say that is all the cotton I want to grow. I just want a supply. I don't want a ton of it. And then the rest of this down here, I am going to turn into Devilstrand. So that right there is going to be cotton. Normal, everything is absolutely fine. And then another growing zone starting from here, going across, all the way up, all the way across, all the way there, all the way there. You guys know how growing zones work. Yeah, sure, you can do it on that not super fertile soil there as well, just to make this look a little bit neater. And that is going to be our Devilstrand growing zone. And this will be reassigned to Devilstrand, and we should have our first harvest ready in a little bit here, which is very, very exciting. This is going to remain cotton just so that we have a little bit of it on hand for things like these beds and other miscellaneous things, but that should be absolutely fantastic. A 60-year-old named Williams is calling from nearby. She is begging to join you at Final Reach. There's some kind of threat following. Do we take in a 6-year-old? At this stage, I'm going to say no, and I feel really bad about it, but yeah, no thank you. The next thing that I would like to do is actually start working on my perimeter wall. And I'm not actually going to build that out of stone. Instead, the furnishings mod that I added in the last episode, if I go into structure, also adds reinforced walls. These take 12 steel to build. They are not flammable, and they have 750 hit points. We could also build it out of just modern walls. These have 500. If we were to build it out of granite, which is what I would build an exterior wall out of most of the time, this has 510. So maybe just going with the modern wall, I mean, reinforced is better. Yeah, modern wall, it's just so much cheaper. Once you add up all that cost, I think the modern wall is just going to be the way to go. So I think that is what I will do. I need to go ahead and find the corner of this, which in reality I probably should have marked, but you know, it'll be fine. I was so close. Corner is going to be there. Let's just mark it there. Drag this all the way out to the bottom of that, to the edge of that, and it doesn't line up. Why? Oh, there we go. Now it lines up. That is going to be my perimeter wall, and I need to make sure that I actually cancel those and figure out where I don't want this wall to be built. So I would like it to be built here. This is going to have to be deconstructed so that we can build one in there. I'm going to have to come down and clear out some of these tanks. That is absolutely okay. And these ones in here probably aren't even a little bit necessary. And these ones in here, I'm going to hold off on for the moment as well. Now I will go around with some doors and just figure out where I want my doors to be along this whole structure. So I'll come back once they are all in. Another trader has come through. I'm going to sell them both my elephant tusks to buy 6 normal components and 2 advanced components. Those advanced components are probably going to hang around for a little bit, but since we can see them right now, we may as well go ahead and grab them. I would like to make a little bit more money, but yeah, I'm going to get mortars up and running first. Hope that we can find a reinforced barrel to actually, you know, craft one and go from there. Dragon, what are you doing, bud? Please just... Why? Why? Alright, you'll be fine. I'm sorry I didn't notice that sooner. If you don't build yourself into a hole, you won't get stuck. Also, why are you eating pemmican? There's plenty of simple meals right there. But sure, you do you, my guy. I don't understand that at all. Alright, we have an acolyte from the Shattered Empire is having trouble landing near Final Reach due to repeated infestations. She wants to draw the bugs to you to be dealt with. This will provoke an infestation of 2 hives. I mean, they're not really offering me anything that I want. Otherwise, I would be tempted. If there was something I wanted in there, I would consider that. But for right now, I don't think I will, especially with the state that Dragon's currently in because they got trapped in a wall. So I'll let them continue on with this outer wall. They're going to do some mining in the meantime to get the materials for that, and we can go from there. Alright, this outer wall is as built as it can be without us going in here and clearing some of this junk. So let's get everyone drafted real quick. We'll bring them all over here and start shooting at some of this stuff to get rid of it. I mean, realistically, we only need to worry about this one and this one, and I think the rest should be okay. Everyone, please start attacking that. Alright, I figured I may as well clear out anything that is on my side of the wall just because we can. With that, everyone can now be undrafted and we can queue up this final little section of wall to be constructed. And we'll have a pretty decent barricade against enemies. Of course, we still need to figure out what we're doing up here and what we're doing down here, but I'll wait for them to, at the very least, get this done before we move on to that. This also caught fire, and that made me realize that I never actually toggled on automatic rebuild of destroyed structures, so we should definitely go and do that. Also, do we have a door open somewhere? I feel like I might have forgot to close the door at some point. No, I think we're okay. So I'll let them work on this and we'll come back from there. All right, the rest of that wall is complete. We did, however, run out of power again last night. I don't think that's so much of an issue with the amount of power generation we have as it is with the amount of power storage we have. So I'm going to assign 2 more batteries to be built there. That is another 4 components that will get used, but I am okay with that. Now, in terms of getting this protected for the moment, I use standard bridges, but I'm going to do this 3 wide, like so. That can be a regular wall. That can be a regular wall there and a regular wall there. And then the rest of this will be wooden walls. And that should hopefully stop anyone potentially coming in this way. Just doubling up on those wooden walls so that it's a little bit more secure. Of course, it can still be burnt down. Hopefully it won't get burnt down, but it can be. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I have a reinforced barrel, but we don't have enough money. We don't have enough money. I mean, I could sell my ambrosia. That's probably not super necessary to me. I could probably sell like 500 cloth. That'd get me close. I need a tiny bit more money. Selling machine pistol gets us there. That would allow us to buy at the very least 1 reinforced barrel. Is there anything else I really want to sell them? I mean, I could sell them my clothes. We're not really using them at this point. That'll get us a little bit of extra cash as well. Or we could always go ahead and buy a component. Yeah, I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm not too concerned about the medicine at this point. We still have 23 on hand. We can't really make more, but we have herbal medicine, so we should be okay. I think that is the way to go. Mortars is just about over halfway research, so that is fantastic. And once we get that done, we can actually start building our first mortar and getting some shells to go in it to fire from. It is also Kindling Day, which is fantastic. I'm not actually sure how we do that one. Kindling Day is... okay, we can do that here. Fantastic. If the social festival is fun or unforgettable, we will gain goodwill from the nearest faction base. This is the thing, though. Do we do it, or do we just skip this year? Because we don't have an altar, we don't have a lectern, we don't have kneel sheets, we don't have any of this stuff set up. So I think this first year we are going to skip Kindling Day, but hopefully by the time it comes around again, we will have our ideology room actually set up and be able to do a decent thing. Also have some chunks of spacecraft landing nearby, which is always nice for some extra components. Absolutely fantastic. I'll go ahead and get this finished up and we will come back from there. We have a mad emu. Now, this emu should, in theory, come through here. So we probably actually have a little bit of time before we even need to draft anyone. Let's go ahead and just get our shooters for the moment. And I'm going to sit them right about there. And that way... well, I did not do that soon enough. Where is Dragon? Dragon's all the way down there. Okay. Marchment, I guess, can start shooting at that emu. And hopefully it doesn't kill us. I got a little bit cocky with that one, but these guys should be able to shoot at it and take it down. Hopefully Marchment is fine. Yep, they are. Okay. We're all good. We took a little bit of damage, but that is okay. Who else is still drafted? I know someone here is drafted. Ruben is drafted. For some reason, it doesn't always show me the things. Oh, I guess it underlines them. Okay. I thought it gave you crosses, but I might have been wrong. That's okay. We are slowly but surely working on this. Ruben tried to convert Layfield. It's led to a social fight. Absolutely amazing. Everyone's now hurt. Great. It's good out here. Base drone info hack. All right. Mechanoids will detect the drone's energy signature as long as it's present. They'll send attackers approximately every 8 hours to destroy it and steal the wealth they think it contains. You'll have some time to prepare defenses around it before they arrive. Okay. I am tempted. This is a hacking thing. We do have some decent people there. If we jump into quests, we can do this anytime we want, so I may wait until this wall is at the very least finished and we have some sort of defense around this area. We also have inspired taming with Matthew, and the question is, do we want to get an elephant? I don't think we do because we are struggling a little bit on the kibble, but we should probably consider taming something soon, which is going to, of course, involve building a pen, which we don't really have the opportunity to do just yet. So for right now, I'm going to finish this and let these guys get healed up, and then I think we might take on that space drone. Alright, this section is complete. I know it looks a little bit janky, but it will at the very least keep people out. And then we need to think about what we are doing up here. And I have a little bit of a plan. I want to mine all of that out. I would like to mine all of that out. I think I would even like to mine this and this so that we can replace it with a wall. And then the general idea is going to be have a wall there and fill in any of these gaps where people can hide. So something like that to start with, probably all the way down to there. And then once they've got all of that mined out and built up, I'll show you the rest of the plan. Well, I guess I can show you some of that plan already. Let's go for a bridge right across here. I'm going to make that bridge at least 4 deep, probably 5. Let's go for 5 for right now. We have a shaman merchant coming in as well. I definitely want to see if they have anything to trade. These guys want some herbal medicine, which we have plenty of, so I may as well go ahead and accept that charity quest. Layfield, can you please go ahead and give the medicine to them? And I'll come back once this is all built up. We could go ahead and get a pig and a sow, get a little bit more meat coming in so that we can make a little bit more, more kibble. That would involve us selling all 50 of our herbal medicine, but I think that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then for right now, I'm going to jump into miscellaneous, throw down a caravan hitching spot in the middle of some of this grass so that they can work on that. Now, that does mean we're going to have to switch gears from building this out for just a little bit, because I am going to come into structure here, go ahead and build myself a limestone fence that is going to run all of this, and this is going to be my pen. Now, I'm going to turn on that just so that I can see where that edge is nice and clearly and not mess it up. But that should be a nice animal pen. It's not going to have a lot of nutrient growth, but it'll have some. Now, of course, we will also need to go ahead and grab ourselves some fence gates. So I'm going to put one there, and one there, so they have easy access to our kitchen and everything else. And then I'll throw one down there as well. And I guess we can throw one down there just in case they need to get out that way for some reason. Now, who is our animal person? That would be Matthew. So Matthew, can you please go ahead and prioritize roping both of those pigs so that they don't wander off while we are building all of this up. Mortars is finished. We'll deal with that in a little bit here, but I think for now, I mean, advanced lights would be nice. It would cut some of our stuff in half. We could also go straight from microelectronics into the multi-analyzer into fabrication so that we can build our own components. And I think that is what I want to do. But let's take a quick pit stop at beer brewing and see if we can't get that up and running to get ourselves a little bit more money first. Pen is now enclosed. I'm going to say auto cut anything that is not nutrients in here. And in terms of how much we have 2.98 growing. These guys will only consume 1.6, but I would like to start stockpiling a little bit for these guys as well. At this point, we can remove that caravan hitching spot. These pigs are now free to roam as they would please, which is fantastic. They are still working on this a little bit up here. So I'll let them finish that before we move on with the defenses we're going to build. That is a decent sized pocket of metal, by the way. Beer brewing is complete. Again, we'll deal with that a little bit later. For now, I'm going to go into microelectronics. Okay, most of this construction is complete. I would like another layer of wall just so that they can't avoid the water entirely. So I'm going to put wall there, wall all the way down there, and that should be where I finish. I don't want to build a wall here, here, or here because they will be able to hide around the corners of it. So I want this to be a nice straight shot with as much water as possible because this has a walk speed of 30%, which is going to slow down our enemies a ton when they're trying to get to us. So that should be fantastic. All right, that is now complete. And this can now be shrunk because I don't need to see that. Let's go ahead and figure out our defenses here. So first line of defense is going to be a nice simple line of sandbags. I think that is going to be the best idea. I am going to put sandbags back here as well. I would build walls, but the sandbags are going to hold up a little bit better. We can station pawns here and here if we want some of them to have a little bit of extra defense. And then from there, well, do I want it like that? Or we could also potentially cancel this, grab in our structure, wooden wall, go wooden wall to there. Let's go this wall to there and there, close that off, right? Have a door here that we can have held open at all times. And then we could build another little fallback chamber over here where they can, you know, hold the line if our enemies get too close. I think that is what I might actually like to do, which makes these a little bit redundant, but that is what it is. Let's go ahead and remove these bridges. They are not, well, I'm going to cancel that. At the very least, they can cross this river a little bit easier, which is probably a good thing to have. So let's get them building that up, and then from there, we'll figure out what we want to do over here. Now, instead of having the door right here, that seems like a bad idea, because if we have dragons standing here, they can come from here and shoot at us from there, which is a bad idea. So instead of that, let's go ahead and designate some more of this to be mined. I think maybe something like that. Let's even mine that out so that we can make this a nice and even. And then once they've done that, we'll figure out what we want the inside of this to actually look like. All right, just as I finish it, we get the perfect opportunity to test it out. I do want this to be held open very, very quickly. Let's go ahead and get everyone drafted and in place. They are all going to stand there for the moment. Hopefully these guys won't attack. Are they preparing for a while? That would be fantastic if they are. They are attacking immediately, but they are all standing still. Okay, now they can see us. Fantastic. So the plan is shoot them from here. If that doesn't work, run back in here. This should also be deconstructed. I want to be able to shoot from that gap. So let's go ahead and get Dragon undrafted real quick and deconstruct that. Perfect. That way we can have someone standing there, someone standing here, and that should be absolutely perfect. Dragon, you can now be redrafted. I'll put you up the front just in case we leave it a little bit too late before we retreat. And Matthew should also be joining in here as well. All right. What are these guys working with? We have an auto pistol. We have pump shotgun, auto pistol, semi-machine gun. Yeah, machine pistol, pump shotgun, and a melee weapon. So let's see how this goes. You're going to have decent range. Maybe Dragon should actually stand behind this sandbag so they don't get shot in the head. But we should be able to return fire relatively safely from here. I don't know where these guys are going. Even a little bit. But that's okay. I guess we'll just deal with them later on. For right now, we should probably focus on what is directly in front of us. All right, 2 down, 1 to go. And they're coming in decently close. You're not really that much of a threat. The rest are fleeing. I don't know what their plan was at all, but that's okay. And we have an enemy down. Are they someone we're interested in? They have animal skill and shooting skill, as well as intellect skill. Not bad. They do have an annoying voice and they are greedy though. That's not going to work so well with our barracks situation. I don't think I'm going to take them. In terms of their gear, we don't really want that either. So let's just go ahead and unforbid all items. Let's get these guys, apart from Dragon, to go ahead and continue shooting at them until they are officially dead. Then we can undraft and move on with our day. But for right now, this seems to be working pretty well. I'm going to hold these doors open almost all of the time. The only time that I will shut this one is if we decide that we need to go back into this room and figure it out from there. I guess another thing that we potentially should do is deconstruct you and mine that out. That way we can have another door going in there. I'll actually put a door in there rather than deconstructing it. And that should work out nicely as well. That way, if we do close this door at any point... Oh, well, actually, that should probably not be held open as soon as we have our opening over here. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. We could also line this with traps and things, but for right now, I think that'll be okay. Okay, no one actually wants to clean this. That's fine. That is absolutely okay with me. Now, what did we actually get researched? We got solar panels, nutrient paste. When did I do that? Or does that come researched? Maybe that comes researched. Mortars, that's what I wanted to start building. And I think this is going to be where I build my mortars. I am going to jump into security for the moment, and we are going to have a look at where this could possibly go. So I want to leave a space of 3, and then let's go for another space of 3 up there. Somewhere like there, I think, is where my first mortar is going to be. And I'm going to mine out that just so that it's fine. I might actually just leave that corner. That way it's a little bit protected if anyone comes in this way. And then in terms of storing the shells that we eventually make, let's go ahead and jump into storage, grab ourselves a small steel crate, and that is going to live right there. And we will go ahead and make sure that that is actually covered by a roof, and that should be fantastic. With that done, we actually need to start expanding our production room to the appropriate size because we need to put in some more tables. So it's going to be something like that. I'll let them build that out first. We will make sure we go ahead and throw some doors so that they can actually access that, but that should be fantastic. And we will come back from there. Transport pod has crashed with this pawn inside. They are 16, greedy, kind, and a brawler. Another melee pawn might actually not be too bad to get. They're okay at mining, but honestly, they'll probably be hauling and cleaning more than anything else. I don't mind trying to rescue these guys. If they join, they join. If they don't, they don't. They're bleeding out in 8 hours, but they don't have any dependencies, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead and get them rescued. I don't want to capture them. That seems a little bit mean, but we will go ahead and get them rescued and see whether or not we can convince them to join us. That mortar is officially built. Of course, we don't have any shells, but we will get to that in a little bit. As for what I'm going to allow in this, I will just allow the high explosive shell for now. And if we build any more later on, then, you know, we'll get them sorted then. Ingram is officially being tended. They are no longer dying, which is fantastic. And we have another raid coming in. You guys have knives. Okay, this looks all melee to me. Where is the other enemy? What are you doing all the way over here? Okay, still just melee though, so we shouldn't have too many issues there. Again, these have not been held open, so let's go ahead and draft our people to actually open these as they should be. All right, that's that one open. Let's get this one open. Perfect. And let's set everyone up right along there and make sure that is good. This should actually not be held open. Just this one needs to be held open. And that'll be fantastic. Dragon is coming in, and of course you're going to the wrong spot, but that, well, actually that's probably not a bad spot for you to set. And we should see these guys. Oh, are they preparing? Ah, they're preparing. Oh well. Everyone can get undrafted for the moment, and we'll wait for them to actually start their attack. All right, they are officially starting their attack. Let's get everyone drafted again, set them up all the way along here, and see how our new defenses do when we're a little bit better prepared for it, and especially against melee pawns. All right, first shot's coming out, and hopefully we can just hold these guys back without too many problems. But if they get a little bit closer than they are, yeah, I think we are going to have to fall back in this scenario. This should not be held open, but that is okay. We can run everyone out this way. Dragon can come and stand here. That should not be held open, please. That is going to be shut now. Let's get these guys to come in back here. And that should be a pretty decent defense, if you ask me. One at a time, we can shoot these guys down, and they really can't get an angle on us at all. Realistically, someone could potentially stop here and start shooting at Dragon, but we've got a pretty decent firing power over here, so we should be able to deal with it relatively easily. And yeah, this looks like a perfect defense for the moment, especially in the early game, so that is very good to see. And we have one last one going down. We do have an enemy downed. Are they any good? They are 19, they're lazy, and a psychopath. That's a minus 20 global work speed. You're okay at melee, you're okay at plants. I mean, yeah, maybe. I really want someone good at crafting, is what I want. That is what I really, really want. But I will grab you. At the very least, we can use you as a Hemogen farm. I think that's going to be worthwhile. Let's go ahead and allow all. Get everyone else undrafted. Dragon, how are you doing? Yeah, you're going to be okay. You're not even bleeding out. Absolutely fantastic. And let's get Layfield to go ahead and capture Owl. Throw them in there, and let's, at the very least, get them converted, and we'll turn on Hemogen Farm so that we can start working on that. That is going to require another fridge, however. So this fridge is going to be for Hemogen packs only. Everything else will be cleared. This is going to be important. And as soon as it's built, I will also turn off the power to that, because Hemogen packs don't need to be refrigerated either. We have an old installation. Okay. Ancient complex nearby. It is said to contain information about the Emberclaw Clan Pint glass. If you break into the structure and hack the computers inside, you can collect the information. All manner of dangers. I don't think we're quite ready for that one yet, but we can do the Space Drone one relatively soon. That might be something we start working on in the very next episode. I would also like to mine that out, please. Yeah, that might be for the next episode. Because, well, we can probably keep recording for a little bit. I think I want to get this production room up and running. But any information about the Emberclaw Clan Pint glass will be in the next episode. All right, Ingram is now no longer incapable of walking. Fantastic. Hopefully they join us. If they don't, it's no big deal, but it would be nice. Now, this is our Hemogen farm right here. And the question is, do we want to train Layfield and Marchment in more doctor behavior? Or do we want to turn that off and train someone like Dragon or Matthew? And I think the answer is we want to train either Dragon or Matthew. I'm happy training both of them, so I will put them both at surgery level 1. And that way, whenever Owl is healthy enough to do it, we will go ahead and harvest a Hemogen pack from them. Now, this fridge is going to be turned off, and that is where we're going to store the Hemogen, and that should be fantastic. This room is also coming along very, very nicely. We need to go ahead and install a few more of those. Let's get Hidden Conduit down to there, and Power Conduit down to there, and think about what we actually want to put in this room. So, first things first is I would like an electric smithy to be right about there, and then I would like a machining table to be right about there. We could think about putting in an art bench, but I don't think it's really necessary just yet. We could also think about putting in a brewery. That likes to be in a workshop, so that would make sense. Yeah, why not? Let's throw in a brewery right about there. Electric smelter, yeah, we could, but I don't think we need it just yet. So I'm going to leave it at just those 3, and I will go ahead and build up a little bit of storage in here. So I would like storage all the way to there, storage down to there, storage across here. Actually, that might not end up being storage. That might become something else. And then I would like 3 away from that wall. 3 away from that wall? Yeah. That there and that there for now. That is what we're going to start with in our production room. And once that is all built, we'll have a look at what is available. We've also extracted our first Hemogen, which is fantastic. That is just sitting on their bed for right now. Al has moderate blood loss, but that is okay. We could also go ahead and re-infuse them with that Hemogen to make it a little bit quicker, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to build up a little bit of a stockpile first. That is all built up, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead and look at what we actually want to build. One of the very first things I think I would like to build is simple helmets for everyone. So I'm going to say do until you have X. I'm going to say do 2. Don't count equipped, don't count tainted. I want them to be 51% or above. Only allowed ingredients, and they should be made out of steel. As for anything else in here, we could potentially go ahead and make maces for our melee pawns, but I honestly think Dragon's Knife is better than that, and we really don't need anything else in there. I would like to make high explosive shells, but we actually can't yet because we do need chem fuel to be able to make that. In terms of anything else that I would like to make, honestly, not really. I think I'd like to wait for better guns to be available to us before we go ahead and start crafting them, because otherwise it's just going to be a little bit of a waste of components. So we will have our helmets in here, incendiary shell, high explosive shells in here, and we can also start making wort. That, of course, is going to require us to actually grow some hops, but we can at the very least queue it up. And I'm going to say do until you have like 200, I guess. Well, I actually don't know. Let's go for 100 for now, and that'll be okay. Now, in terms of getting chem fuel, that is going to require us to get biofuel refining, but I'll start that once we've finished microelectronics, and then that will be okay. As for storage in here, I think I would like these two to be linked. These are going to be clear all. Does wort need to be cold? Yes. Okay. In that case, I will probably go ahead and instead build a fridge in here once that is actually started. That makes more sense to me. Does hops need to be cold? Yes. Okay, so I might actually go ahead and deconstruct all of those, or I guess I could just move them, right? Because eventually we will have more stuff over here. So let's just move them out of the way for the moment. And they are linked, I think, but that's fine. As for this, we are going to need some steel for both of these. So let's get steel in, wait, oh no, that's clothing, that's fine. Let's get steel somewhere else then. Steel can probably sit in these four. That makes sense to me. Link settings, these can store steel and nothing else. Actually, no, we'll make a special one for plasteel. This one here can store plasteel. Fantastic, clear everything else. And then we also will probably eventually need some wood in here. So I'm going to make these guys linked, and these can be for wood, just to make everything nice and easily accessible. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and build some chairs in here, continue on with our research, and then we can start working on biofuel refining from there and get that up and running. Alright, looks like our simple helmets have all been done, except for Layfield doesn't want to wear one, because they are wearing the psychic foil hat, which might be better, to be completely honest with you, but I would prefer everyone to be similar. So I'm going to put that in there. We might even end up selling the psychic foil hat, because I imagine it's pretty good in terms of value, and that'll be good. Actually, you can get the better quality simple helmet, and that will be much better. So our production building is officially up and running, and I think that is where we are going to leave today's episode. We built the fences, we expanded our farm to have some Devilstrand. Have we actually got any Devilstrand yet? I don't think we have, but I will just quickly check. Yeah, no, we haven't actually got any yet, but that should be harvestable in the very next episode. And we can also start hunting for the Emberclaw Clan Pint glass. Link down in the description if you would like your very own. With all that being said, I am going to leave the episode there. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like and a comment for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Consider becoming a Golden Panda member if you'd like your name in the game, or becoming a regular member to get early access to all of our videos. But until next time, happy building, happy surviving. Bye, guys.